what's up and welcome back to my channel. I am the Mass Trans and you are watching me, baby. Now, before we get today's video started, I just want to give a quick what's up to my peeps and a diabolical middle finger to the creeps. You know who you are. Minnesota! What's going on out in Minnesota? I'm laughing, right? But I'm not laughing at what's going on in Minnesota. I'm laughing because I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. Philando Castile, George Floyd, Dante Wright, and now Amir Locke. That's 4, y'all. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Oh, look at my Spanish. What would it be in French? Deux, trois, quatre. Look at me. 4. You got 4 black men killed at the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department. I'm incredulous. I can't believe this. Like, you would think, right? Let me give y'all a real quick backstory. So I'm talking about Amir Locke. 22 years old. 22 years old. 22. 10 years ago, he was 12 years old. 22 years old. Minding his own business, just trying to rest. He at home or at a friend's house resting. And the Minneapolis Police Department went down to the leasing office, grabbed the key, went into the apartment where he was staying, and executed a no-knock warrant, which by this time, after Breonna Taylor, we should know that this is not the thing. This is not the lick. This is not what we're doing anymore. But they did it. They did it. Not only did they do it, the judge who signed the warrant presided over the Derek Chauvin case. Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? That at no point, given the history of Minneapolis and the optics of what's been happening with the Minneapolis Police Department, was there a moment of pause to think, we need to move a little different from the way we've been moving because the people are watching and the people are tired and the people are fired up. We are just now trying to recover from the incineration of our city a couple of years back. Just now starting to recover. And here we go again. Either you don't learn or you don't give a damn. Or it's a combination of the two. 22 years old. According to his mother. So, have y'all seen the video, by the way? So what's so interesting is they show this young man holding a gun, but we never see the officer holding a gun. The officer's gun went off. His didn't. His did not. So they barge into the apartment while this young man is on the couch sleeping. Bundled up. It's like 40 below in Minnesota. He in there bundled up, trying to stay warm, minding his own business. They come in screaming, flashlights blaring, kicking the back of the sofa where he's sleeping. So instinctually, he reaches and grabs for a gun to protect himself, not knowing what's going on. He grabs the gun and the gun is pointed towards the ground. It's pointed south. The police are north. And the officer shot him 3 times. 3 times and ended his life. I can't understand how this makes sense to anybody. I'm confused. First of all, they were executing. First of all, St. Paul Police Department called Minneapolis, was like, hey girl, what you doing? Nothing. Can you execute this warrant for me? Sure. We'll execute it because, Minneapolis and St. Paul, they're siblings. They're the twin cities. I think it's the Mississippi River that separates one from the other. So they're twins. They're siblings. Girl, I ain't doing nothing. Okay, well, I'm going to send this warrant over to you. You execute it. Oh, sis. Okay, sis. Okay, cool. We'll execute that for you. We're going to do you a little bit better than that. We're going to escalate your warrant to a no-knock warrant. Because we bored. We ain't got nothing to do. It's cold out here. The criminals ain't acting up. The city, ain't in turmoil. So we need to create some upheaval. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to elevate this warrant that you sent over to us to a no-knock warrant because we're bored. And we need to engage the SWAT team. So yeah, we're going to run that over here. So they grabbed the warrant, Go to the apartment complex. Apartment complex gives them the keys to the apartment where this young man is staying. Let me tell y'all something for you apartment dwellers, myself included. If your apartment does not have a lock that only locks from the inside without a key, my apartment has 3 locks. 2 you can access with a key from the exterior, and 1 that you can only unlock from the interior. If your apartment does not have an interior lock that only you can unlock from the inside, you might want to consider moving. You might, because it's a safety hazard. The police can just go get a key to your apartment and come in anytime they feel like it. He might have had a fighting chance or an opportunity to surrender if the doors had all have been locked, and he would have heard the commotion and had enough time to sort of gather himself to say, oh my God, it's the police. Let me go ahead, put the gun down, lay down and surrender so that I can survive the situation. But he never had that opportunity because of the way that the warrant was executed. Never had a chance. That's crazy to me. It's crazy to me, first of all, that they can do that you can just get a key. You know, I was watching a case out of Chicago a few years back where the police busted into the wrong apartment where this lady was completely nude. Black lady once again. Because, you know, you're not seeing this happen in predominantly white neighborhoods. Did you detect a lie? Did you detect a lie? Because I didn't detect one. This is not happening in predominantly white neighborhoods. It's not. It's crazy to me. And you would think, right? Because if I believe the Minneapolis Police Department is currently the subject of a investigation by the Justice Department. Because of this exact thing. Because of this exact thing. And y'all still signing no-knock warrants. And you know something? Let me say this, right? I love police officers. I appreciate police officers, the good ones who do their jobs. And so I don't want to vilify our police officers, because every officer is not a bad police officer. I know that. And even in this particular instance, right, as much as it pains me to say, I don't necessarily know that this officer went up into this apartment with the intention to kill this young man. I don't necessarily think he woke up that morning and said, I'm going to go out here and kill me a Negro. I don't necessarily believe that. But there are 2 things that I do believe. I believe that even though you may not have gone in there with the intention to kill, the simple fact that you don't value black life as much as you value other life, mean that when you see it, it's easier for you to extinguish it. It's just easier because you don't see the value in it. I also believe that these officers are trained to kill. They're not trained to de-escalate, because there was an opportunity for de-escalation. When he had the gun pointed at the ground, there's 9 police officers in full body armor. There was an opportunity to grab the gun and wrestle it away from him if they wanted to. Now, I know some people might say, well, in that case, the officer could have gotten shot, X, Y, and Z. Absolutely. But if that is your job, if that is what you're paid to do, if you don't want to do it, get another job, sis. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do it. It's just crazy. It is so unfathomable to me that this is happening again in Minneapolis. Have they learned nothing? Have they learned nothing? And I know, you know, they over there typing, baby, pulling up criminal records, you know, trying to find the school records. I mean, they are digging in this boy's history, trying to find a way to muddy up his character in a way that makes the public perception of him less than human. He doesn't deserve sympathy. You know, he was hanging out with a murderer. If that was the case, we don't know that. Isn't it innocent until proven guilty? He hasn't even stood trial yet. If it was him, but according to the police, the warrant wasn't even for him. It was for someone else that they arrested at a later date and time, today in fact. Oh. I don't know. You see all these people out in Minnesota marching? Like I told y'all before, it's like, I don't know what the temperature is in Minneapolis, but Minneapolis is cold. And these people are out in the streets marching. They are marching in protest of another young black man being killed at the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department. And when you out there in the cold, in that Minnesota cold, protesting, you mean what you protesting about. Oh, baby, you mean every single word. You mean that. Because that cold is nippy, okay? And kudos to the people who are out there. Kudos to the people who are on the front line, who are out there protesting, making noise. Don't burn the city down again, y'all. Don't do that. What we have to do is start holding these public officials accountable. They have to be held accountable in a real way. Because enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I'm not with all of that defund the police nonsense. Look, because I don't want to live in a world without police. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to hold you, okay? I don't want to live in a world without police because the police are definitely needed. So now I talk about all this defund the police nonsense. I'm not here for it. Sorry, sis. I live to be a police officer, a good one. Okay, let me quantify that statement. But something needs to happen. What are your thoughts on this, you guys? Like, I just cannot believe that, it's just like a cycle in Minnesota. Can Minnesota make it through a year? How long ago was Dante Wright? I don't remember. They're on about maybe a year and a half cycle. We'll give them about a year and a half cycle. Because literally while Philando Castile was just about to fade, George Floyd happened. When George Floyd was, still, very, very prominent in the public's consciousness, Dante Wright happened. Then Dante Wright family just got in a settlement. Now here we go with this Amir Locke. That's a lot. Now, while I'm not for defunding the police, I am for dismantling the police. That entire police department needs to be dismantled and rebuilt from the ground up. It needs to be, everybody got to go. Everybody. And the judge who signed that warrant needs to go. Because judges are elected officials. He needs to go. Especially a judge that has been so connected to a high-profile case involving police brutality. And the light bulb didn't come on for you, excuse me? Because you are a judge, but how would a judge make such a poor judgment call? I don't know, you guys. And also, I keep thinking to myself, when you hear about Philando Castile, George Floyd, Dante Wright, Amir Locke, you ask yourself, these are the cases that got the attention. What about all the other cases that didn't get the attention, that didn't get the notoriety that these cases got? What about all of the cases that get swept under the rug, under the radar, never see the light of day? What about those cases? Because if you have these four, for every four that are reported, there's probably at least 100 that have not been reported. All right, you guys. Anyway, do me a huge favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And please, I'm curious to know what you think about this. Whether or not you think that, is this just a problem in Minnesota? Is this a problem with police in general? How you feel it should be addressed? Do you think the police should be defunded? What do you think is a resolution? What is the fix? Because something is definitely foul, for lack of better phrasing. So yes, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, in closing, ask yourself this one poignant question. Why be bitter when we can be better? So let's be better together. I'm the Mass Trans, and I'll talk to you guys again in my next video. Mwah. Bye-bye. And shout out to Amir Locke's family, his mother. When you talk about a strong black woman, this woman, not a single tear. She is fortified, articulate, speaking up on her son's behalf. Shout out to his mother for having the chutzpah, for lack of a better term, to go through this in a very public way with grace, dignity, and courage. And simply based on the disposition of his mother and his father, and I love that really quick. Ooh, let me say that before I go. I love the fact that his mother and his father, because a lot of people out here think that black women have kids by themselves. No, baby, the mother and the father showed up to support their baby. And And my point that I was about to make, when you see his parents, when you hear the way his mother speak, you can tell that he came from good stock, that he was raised well. So feel how you want to feel. But I know, based solely on the disposition of his mother, that this boy didn't come, from the gutter, for lack of a better term. Anyway, I'm going for real. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.